and I'm really excited to be bringing you my first video blog for NYC Nom Nom. Now I have to say, I wanted to get started with one of my favorite recipes where I got my start. My grandma brought me into the kitchen and decided to teach me how to perfectly peek egg whites for a meringue. When I was a little girl, I could hardly reach the counter, so she had to bring a stool up so I could reach up to hit the button on the KitchenAid. So really, what you need to know about the recipe is all right down there. All the ingredients, I've written them all out for you right below this video. So don't worry about grabbing a pen and paper, it's all right there. I'd like you to focus more on the technique. That's what Grandma said was the most important part. So now, let's get started. So there are some secrets to how to make perfect meringue. The biggest thing is your egg whites. You have to make sure that they're at room temperature and they don't have a drop of yolk in them. If you have yolk, your meringue is ruined. You also have to make sure you have the right tools. Now you could whisk it by hand, but when you've got one of these around, there's really no reason to waste all that energy. You want to make sure that your tools are completely clear of oil, because even a drop of oil is also going to ruin your meringue. So you get your egg whites in there, and then you turn on your KitchenAid. You want to put it about medium-low for about a minute. That is way too loud. Let's get some movie magic editing in here and come back in a minute. Now that it's been going for about a minute, the egg whites are nice and frothy. You want to know what frothy looks like? I'm glad you asked. That's why we've got the camera rolling. This is frothy. So the next step is you want to make sure that you add the cream of tartar. Now this is a really important step because you have to make sure that it breaks up the proteins in the eggs and allows them to stiffen. So once you add that in, close it back up, set it back on, and now for some more movie magic. So my egg whites are starting to look good. I can start to see a pattern in them, and that's what I'm looking for. I really want to make sure though that I don't overbeat them. So at this point I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to make sure I beat them by hand. Now as you see, you can kind of see it's getting thick in there, so really it's important to give it a good whisking. This can take some muscle, so you got to make sure you're willing to put in the time. And a perfectly whisked egg white is going to form peaks. Now we're not quite there. You're seeing that it's holding a shape, but it's a little liquefied, so we got to give it some more. There we go. Now we're getting some peaks. If you look right there, every time we pick it up, it comes to a point. That's what you need. So now that we've got our egg whites perfectly mixed in, we need to add the sugars. Now it's going to be both granulated and powdered sugar, and this requires patience. You have to do it spoonful by spoonful and mix it in between each step. So I'm going to pull my sugars over here and start with 1 scoop of granulated, and I add that in. Mix it up, and then switch over and add 1 scoop of powdered sugar and mix that in. Now I'm even bored watching this, so let's get some more movie magic in here and we'll come back in a moment. So now the sugar is all incorporated. It should have a very nice, smooth, thick texture, almost like whipped cream. Now is when you want to start to fold in the chocolate. So you want to take your cocoa powder and add it very little at a time. You want to think of about a tablespoon per add and fold it in very gently. Make sure it gets all incorporated before you add some more. Like I said, you need patience for meringue. Now we're getting to a good place with the chocolate, and we just have 1 more ingredient to add. Now in my opinion, the vanilla taste in meringue is really important. However, it also can be the failing moment of the meringue. This is something you want to add right down the side of the pan, really slowly. You want to stir it slowly. Otherwise, you could deflate all of the hard work that you just did perfectly peeking that meringue. It's really important to go nice and slow and get it swirled in there. If you add it all at once, you're going to be in trouble. So we're looking good. We've got a beautiful chocolate meringue here. It's in the right texture, the right color. This is what you want it to look like. So now it's ready to go to the pan. The big thing about the pan is you have to make sure that it's well greased. You want lots of nice butter in there. You want to make sure that when the sugar melts, it's not going to stick. So now that we're here, you just pour it gently in. Last step, it's all in the spring form. Now you can use a pie plate, but I prefer the spring form. It gives it a better shape. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to put this right into our preheated oven. Now I'm sure, because it's me, I forgot to tell you to preheat the oven. So just follow the directions. Remember, they're down below. So I'm going to leave that in there for an hour and a half. After the hour and a half is done, I'm just going to open it a little bit and leave it in there overnight. So let's get it cooking.